Breaking news! As the alliance between the USSR and the USA collapsed, the world has been split in two. The leading power of the communist side is the USSR, and the leading power of the capitalists is the United States of America. Now passing it on to our news anchor of the day, Daniel Fallon.
Good evening. Welcome to Big E News, the news station that will expose you to the biggest and most accurate news. My name is Daniel Fallon, and tonight we'll be reporting on the rising tensions of the Cold War, unfolding stories from Cuba, Vietnam, and Germany, at the human cost of ideological division. From Berlin to Saigon, we'll bring you the latest headlines, personal accounts, and expert analysis on the global clash between two major superpowers, capitalism and communism. Now passing on to our reporter, Raul Perez.
Now we turn to the front lines of the Cuban Missile Crisis, also known as the Caribbean Crisis. The tensions between the USSR and the US were brought to a breaking point when the President of the United States of America, John F. Kennedy, sent letters to the leader of the USSR stating no weapons were delivered to Cuba. However, after some time, we figured out that Cuba was storing all the missiles in the USSR, and in response set up a blockade around Cuba. Now we are interviewing the Cuban local named Amber Dingas.
My name is...
Hello Amber, so I have a few questions for you. First of all, what is it like being a Cuban civilian at this time of events?
Honestly, I am very scared of the situation. However, the USSR stands that the United States' actions constituted aggression, but I am unsure if it will mean that there will be further invasions.
Next, did you feel safer with the presence of the Soviet missiles on your land?
Yes and no. Although it initially made me feel safer to have such power weapons on the land, the more I think about it, the more unsafe I feel. The USA now views us as a threat and treats us as such.
Finally, are you terrified of the possibility of a large-scale invasion? Or do you see this as such a necessary struggle?
Honestly, I view this struggle as necessary. I do not agree with either side of the conflict, and I'm split between supporting the USSR or the USA. I just want this to end so that we Cubans do not have to live in fear of what may happen to us. Can I have some? I'm very hungry.
No, torta.
What will you have after 500 years? Breaking news! Raul Perez is okay, just with a black eye. He will still be your reporter for the day.
While world leaders sit on their thrones in safe, protected rooms, ordinary people face the realities of war and the cruel after effects of it. Now, we turn to our reporter, Raul. He is currently in Vietnam and reviewing Minh Vo and her experiences with the side effects of being exposed to Agent Orange and war.
Min, how are your parents after being exposed to Agent Orange?
Well, both my parents have skin disease now. At first, they didn't know it was a direct effect of the Agent Orange. They just thought they were unlucky and got skin cancer. But after it was exposed that the US government sprayed Agent Orange all over the forests, they figured out it might have been the cause. It also came out that many American soldiers got infected with Agent Orange too, so we weren't the only ones infected.
There you have it, folks. Agent Orange. Overall, how does it make you feel about the Vietnam War?
I believe that world peace shouldn't be a debate. Both sides are effective in war in their own way, and I hope that one day the world will see how destructive war is for both sides.
Thank you, Raul and Minh Vo, for your information. Now, we will be meeting Raul in Berlin.
Reactions from the global stage have been mixed. While West Berlin aligns with capitalism, others, such as East Berlin, advocate for socialism. So, Janice, how is it on the other side? So, Janice, how is it over in East Berlin?
I want to leave East Berlin as we don't have access to many goods as the West side does.
Well, I don't know about that. East Berlin has access to lower rent, child-free care, and we have to pay for every little thing we want.
So how do you communicate with family or friends on the other side?
Well, I have a working telephone, but I can only call for a limited time. Usually, I send letters to the government before they are sent to my family.
I mainly send letters to my families and friends since our calls are limited.
Would you like to keep the wall up or get it destroyed?
Well, many other people and I say the wall is like the wall of shame because it separates us from being a united country and brings us shame every day.
I feel the wall should be destroyed because we were segregated from the United States.
Thank you to all of our witnesses and Raul. Now passing it back to Daniel Fallon for the finale.
As the Cold War rages on, the world watches with anticipation, unease, and fear. But worry shall you not. At Big E News, we remain dedicated to exposing you to the biggest and most accurate news. That's the latest news for now, and I'm your reporter, Daniel Fallon, from Big E News, signing out.
Amber Dingus.